How's it going, everybody? I'm Jake with the Hunting Public, and Gooch and I are out here sitting tonight, and all we've seen is a bunch of does. And it's late October right now, but we kind of want to jump ahead to November, and it's going to be the rut here in just a couple weeks. And right now, all we're doing to kind of prepare for that is hopefully we're going to fill a tag before that, but if not, we're just kind of keeping tabs on where we're seeing a bunch of does. And the reason we're keeping tabs on the does is because the bucks are doing that right now too. They're starting to lay down a bunch of sign and whatnot, but all they're doing right now is cruising around, just checking out what areas have a bunch of does, and they're kind of going to circle back through those spots. And obviously the higher concentration of does that you can find, the better your chances are going to be of finding a doe that's in heat. And if you find a doe that's in heat, you're going to find a lot of bucks, I'd say. So that's the first thing that we do, is we just kind of circle back to the areas that we've seen the highest numbers of does and just the highest number of deer in general. Another important thing is staying mobile, and I think that's important for all times of the year, but especially during the rut, because it seems like you can either really be in the deer and like it's going crazy, or you're really out of it and it's just dead. So you just got to not get discouraged, and you got to keep bouncing around until you find the deer. And they might only be in that area for a couple days, and then all the bucks move out and they find a different hot doe, but they're moving around a bunch and you have to move around a bunch too. Just try to find the hottest sign that you can, and that's the time of year that we like to use a bunch of different tactics too: decoys, calling, and it's also the time of year that's definitely most important to maximize your time in the field. I mean, you could literally just be scouting your way along this edge right here, and all of a sudden you see a buck chasing a doe or a buck locked down with a doe, and all of a sudden it's game on. We like to do a lot of still hunting that time of year, but if you're not into that and you kind of just want to be set up in one place, terrain funnels and just habitat funnels in general are really good places to set up during the rut, because bucks are cruising all day. Anywhere in secure cover where deer are going to get pinched down by either terrain or water or just habitat in general is a really good place to set up. And if we find something like that, we'll set it all day. We've had quite a bit of luck over the past few years in the middle of the day, anywhere from 10 to 2 o'clock, especially on your colder days. And another tactic that we found was really effective, especially last fall, was our first year really focusing on, is just trying to find areas that bucks are going to take does to lock them down. They seem to take does to areas where not a lot of other deer are going to be able to get downwind of them and smell that hot doe and then come try to steal them from that buck. So just try to think of anywhere where there's a barrier on the downwind side that no other deer are going to be. Rivers, lakes, could be a subdivision full of a bunch of houses. That's why you see deer out in fields this time of year just bedded down. They're just trying to get away from the other deer, it seems like. That way they're not getting harassed all day by younger bucks. And in our experience, that's a really good time to try to sneak in on a buck, just because their guard is completely down. You have to worry more about the doe spotting you than the buck. The buck will put up with quite a bit because he's not going to leave that doe. And also you can kind of get in that bubble and maybe do some calling at him too, and that might bring him in. So hopefully a couple of these tips will help you. Don't be afraid to try a bunch of different tactics. Like I said, staying mobile, definitely one of the most important. Don't be afraid to try to call, move around, and just try not to settle. If you're not seeing deer, just get to a different area, try to find hot sign, or just try to find where the deer are at, because it's the time of year where they're most active. So good luck, and hopefully you can knock down a buck during the rut.